Hello and welcome back to The Deep Dive. I'm your host, and today we are doing something that feels a little bit, I don't know, a little bit dangerous.
Dangerous. That's a strong word for what we're looking at today. What do you mean?
I think it's dangerous because, usually we're looking at these big topics out there. We talk about AI, we talk about geopolitical shifts, we talk about these massive corporate strategies.
Right, things that are external.
Exactly. It's easy to analyze that stuff because it's not us. It's distinct from our personal lives. But today, we are turning the microscope right back on ourselves, on the listener, and on me, and on you.
Ah, I see. That's fair. We're looking at the one thing every single person listening to this shares, no matter their job, their location, or, their background.
We're talking about the daily routine.
The architecture of the day, as you put it.
It sounds so mundane, doesn't it? Like,
Right.
what did you do this morning? But when you actually start to peel back the layers, the way we structure our 24 hours is basically a fingerprint of our psychology.
It absolutely is. It's where our biology meets our culture, our habits meet our intentions. And to do this, we are using a really deceptive piece of source material today.
Deceptive is the perfect word for it.
On the surface, it's a script. It's designed for English language learners. It's a broadcast drama, I guess you could call it, called A Day in the Life. And it features two main characters, John and Mary.
And I'll be honest, I read this script, and my first thought was, okay, simple vocabulary lesson, cup of coffee, brush teeth, got it.
Sure.
But the 3 pages in, I realized this isn't just a language lesson. This is a full-blown psychological study. It's almost a horror story if you look at it from a certain angle.
Or a self-help manifesto.
Right. It really depends on who you identify with more.
It's a study in archetypes, really. We have John and we have Mary. And our mission today is to unpack their lives, not just to learn the words alarm clock or toothbrush, although those are important for our English learning listeners,
Of course.
but to understand the biological and psychological costs of the decisions they make from the very second they open their eyes.
So we're basically behavioral scientists for the next hour. We're going to tear apart their morning rituals, their caffeine addictions, their commute strategies, and their sleep hygiene.
And in doing so, we're really examining our own.
Because let's be honest, we all like to think we're John.
Oh, absolutely. But the data and just, looking around, it suggests most of us are Mary.
Painfully Mary. I felt so seen reading her parts of the script. So before we get into the alarm clocks and the existential dread of a Monday morning, let's profile our subjects. Who are we dealing with here?
Okay. In the red corner, we have John. John is a teacher. If you were looking for a label, you'd call him the optimized human.
The optimized human. I love that.
He is the early bird. He is disciplined. He is health conscious, and he seems to view his body as a machine that serves his mind.
He's the guy who posts a picture of his watch at 5 a.m. on social media with the caption, "Let's get it." He makes you feel a little guilty just by existing.
That's a perfect description. He represents order, structure. And in the blue corner, we have Mary.
Our hero.
Mary is an office worker. She is the relatable human. She operates on feelings. She seeks comfort. She's constantly fighting against the friction of modern life, the fatigue, the stress, the noise.
She's the one hitting the snooze button and then doing lightning fast math to figure out exactly how many minutes she needs to get ready so she can sleep for 90 more seconds.
That is her to a T. That's the dynamic, order versus entropy, discipline versus comfort. And for our listeners learning English, this is a great exercise. Pay attention to the specific verbs and adjectives associated with each character.
Oh, that's a great point.
John is all about words like sharp, cold, fast. Mary is warm, slow, soft. The language itself tells the story.
That is a fantastic primer.
Yeah.
So let's do it. Let's walk through their day. We're going to do this chronologically, starting where it all begins. Section 1. The morning battle. Waking up.
This is it. This is where the war is won or lost for the entire day.
It really is. The text opens with a sound effect. It says beep, beep, beep.
The universal sound of dread.
The universal sound of no, not yet.
Yeah.
Let's look at Mary first, because her story is, I think, where most of us live. Her alarm goes off at 8 a.m.
And let's be clear, 8 a.m. isn't uncivilized. It's a pretty standard societal wake-up time.
No, it's a decent time, but it's her reaction that's the tell. This is where we get our first major insight into her psychology. The script introduces a key vocabulary term, the snooze button.
The most tempting and destructive button in the modern world.
And she hits it 3 times.
3 times. Now, from a sleep science perspective, this is just fascinating. And frankly, it's terrible. We call this sleep fragmentation.
Sleep fragmentation.
Yeah. When you hit snooze, you aren't getting restorative sleep. You're not getting that deep REM sleep. You're just entering the very beginning of a sleep cycle, only to be ripped out of it again 9 minutes later.
So she thinks she's getting more rest, she's buying herself more time in bed, but she's actually just making herself more tired.
Significantly more tired. It's a phenomenon called sleep inertia. By drifting in and out of that light, choppy sleep, she is confusing her brain's arousal mechanisms. The part of her brain that's supposed to say, okay, time to be awake, is getting mixed signals.
It's like flickering a light switch on and off.
Exactly. She thinks she's buying comfort, but she's actually purchasing brain fog for the next 3 to 4 hours.
But listen to her justification in the text, because it's so primal. She describes the bed as warm and soft.
The sensory details. For the language learners listening, look at those adjectives. Warm, soft. Those are words of safety, of comfort.
It's totally primal, right? Warm and soft equals safety, like a nest. Cold and loud equals danger, like, the outside world. She is prioritizing that immediate sensory safety over the future benefit of being on time and calm.
It's a classic psychological principle called hyperbolic discounting. She values the immediate reward of the soft bed infinitely more than the abstract future reward of a peaceful morning. She is trading her future peace for present comfort.
Every single time. Okay, now let's pivot to the machine. Let's talk about John.
John's alarm rings at 6:00 a.m., 2 hours earlier than Mary.
2 hours. That is an entire lifetime in the morning. That's the difference between chaos and calm right there.
But look at the verb the text uses. It says he jumps out of bed immediately.
Like jumps. Who jumps? I mean, really, does anyone actually do that?
It sounds exaggerated, I know, like a cartoon character. But let's look at the mechanism here. What John is doing is bypassing the negotiation phase.
The negotiation phase.
You know that little voice in your head? The one that says, oh, but it's so cold out there. Just 5 more minutes. You deserve it. Mary gets into a full-on debate with that voice.
A debate she loses 3 times.
Right. John doesn't even let the voice speak. For him, it's a stimulus-response loop. The alarm is the stimulus. The action getting out of bed is the response. No cognitive load is spent on the decision.
So he's actually saving energy by not arguing with himself.
Exactly. He conserves willpower. There's a lot of research on this from people like Roy Baumeister showing that willpower is a finite resource, like a muscle. It gets tired.
I see.
Mary burns a significant amount of her daily willpower just getting her feet on the floor. John hasn't spent a single jump yet.
That is both depressing and illuminating.
Ooh.
So, okay, John is up, he's jumped, and then he does something that I actually found really interesting. He doesn't grab a phone, he doesn't stumble to the coffee machine, he opens the window.
To feel the morning air, the text says.
Why does that matter?
Yeah.
Seems like such a small thing.
It's intuitive biology. It's a huge thing. By exposing himself to the morning air, and presumably the morning light, even if it's just ambient, he is triggering his circadian clock.
The body clock.
Right. The change in temperature and the light signals to the body that it's time to dump cortisol. Now, cortisol gets a bad rap as the stress hormone, but in the morning, it's the get up and go hormone. It's what makes you feel alert.
So he's basically hacking his own biology to wake up faster.
He is. And then he consumes something. We know Mary, when she finally gets up, will want coffee. But John drinks a big glass of cold water.
Not coffee.
Why?
Water, which seems so bland.
But it's another optimization. Think about it. You lose about 1 liter of water just breathing and sweating overnight. You wake up dehydrated. Dehydration causes fatigue and brain fog.
So Mary's just adding to her brain fog.
She goes straight for a diuretic caffeine, which makes you lose even more water. We'll get to that. But John rehydrates first. And the temperature of the water matters too. Cold water. It provides a gentle shock to your system. It can stimulate the vagus nerve. It increases your heart rate slightly. It's a little metabolic kickstart.
It sounds awful.
It feels awful for the first few seconds, for sure. But it works. It's functional. And that's the theme here. John's entire morning is defined by function over feeling. Mary's is feeling over function.
Let's follow that theme into the bathroom, because even how they brush their teeth is coded with these archetypes. John brushes for exactly 2 minutes.
He's quantifying his life. He probably has an electric toothbrush with a timer. He is disciplined even in the smallest, most automatic acts.
And he uses mint toothpaste. The text specifically highlights the word fresh.
Freshness is a John word. It implies alertness, a clean slate. It's sharp. Contrast that with Mary. She uses warm water to wash her face.
Back to the warmth.
And she uses a special soap.
Special soap. That implies luxury, right? Or maybe self-care.
It implies self-soothing. She is trying to extend the feeling of the warm, soft bed into the bathroom. She wants the nice smell, the comforting temperature. The script says it takes a long time. She is dragging out the transition state between sleep and responsibility.
She's just delaying the inevitable.
Yeah.
And then we get to the exercise gap. This is the part of the script where I felt the most personal judgment.
The 20-minute run in the park.
John puts on running shoes and just goes. He goes for a run in the park. He's watching birds. He sees other runners.
And don't overlook that social aspect. The script says he sees other runners. He is validating his identity. He's part of the early bird tribe.
Ah, that's a good point.
When you see other people doing the same hard thing you're doing, it makes it easier to keep doing it. It reinforces the behavior.
It's a reinforcement loop. Look at us. We're the responsible ones. We're winning the morning.
Meanwhile, Mary.
Mary's a zombie. It's 8:30 a.m. now. She's finally out of bed.
And the text literally uses that simile. She walks to the kitchen like a zombie.
I love that vocabulary word for our listeners. Zombie. We have all been the zombie. That slow shuffle. The dead eyes. The single-minded focus on caffeine.
That's the sleep inertia we talked about. Her prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning, personality, and executive function, is basically still offline. She is operating on the lizard brain.
And the lizard brain says,
Find stimulant, find caffeine, now.
which brings us perfectly to section 2, fueling the day.
Or, in Mary's case, fueling the panic.
Totally. Mary goes straight for her coffee machine to make a quick latte.
Wow.
She explicitly says, I don't have time to eat eggs or toast.
This is the time scarcity mindset. Because she borrowed time from the morning by hitting the snooze button, she is now in debt. She has a time debt.
And she's paying for it with her nutrition.
She's paying interest on that sleep debt with her health. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach. It's not a great way to start the day.
Why not? So many people do it.
Well, it can be very harsh on your stomach lining, for one. But more importantly, it causes a huge cortisol spike on top of the natural morning cortisol spike. That can lead to jitters, anxiety, and a massive energy crash later in the day.
So it's not real energy, it's borrowed energy.
It's borrowing energy from 2.0 DM to survive 9.00 AM, a very bad loan.
Whereas John is eating what I call the power meal.
John is eating deliberately. The text lists the ingredients very clearly. 2 fried eggs, 1 piece of brown toast, a banana.
It's a very specific, very balanced menu.
Notice the macronutrients. He has protein and healthy fats from the eggs for satiety. He has complex carbohydrates from the brown toast for slow-release energy. And he has potassium and some quick natural sugar from the banana for an immediate boost.
And he says, and this is a direct quote, it gives me power.
He views food as utility. He isn't eating for pleasure here, though he might enjoy it. He is fueling the engine for the day ahead. This meal will stabilize his blood sugar. He will not have the crash Mary is absolutely destined to have at 10:30 a.m.
Okay, so they are fueled, or in Mary's case, just caffeinated. Now they have to get dressed. And here we hit a concept I see discussed in productivity circles all the time, the wardrobe dilemma.
Or, as the script puts it, Mary looks at a full closet. But what does she say?
The timeless, universal cry, I have nothing to wear.
The paradox of choice. It's a well-documented psychological phenomenon. The more options you have, the harder the decision becomes, and often the less satisfied you are with the choice you eventually make.
She struggles to match her shoes with her bag.
She is expending valuable mental energy, decision-making energy, on a relatively low-stakes decision before her workday has even begun.
And John.
John has solved this problem completely. He has a uniform.
Blue shirt, black trousers.
Every single day, the text says it is easy and fast. He removed the variable entirely.
This is the Steve Jobs effect, isn't it? The black turtleneck. Or Einstein with his suits. They didn't want to waste brain power on clothes.
Exactly. If you start your day making 20 small decisions, snooze or not, what soap to use, what to eat, blue shirt or red shirt, this bag or that one, you are depleting your cognitive battery. We call this decision fatigue.
I've heard of that.
John arrives at work with a full battery. Mary has already used 20% of hers just getting out the door.
So Mary is stressed, she's caffeinated but hungry, she's probably late, and she's worried about her shoes. And now she has to commute.
Now she has to enter the belly of the beast.
Mary takes the subway, and the key words the script uses here are crowded and pushing.
Crowded and pushing. These are high-stress words. This is an environment of high-stress density. Her personal space is being violated. Her fight-or-flight response is probably trickling in the background. This raises her baseline anxiety levels before she even badges into the office.
It's an assault on the senses. The noise, the people, the smells. But she does one smart thing here. She puts on headphones.
Yes, she creates a sound bubble, a small zone of control.
The text says she listens to a podcast to learn, which is a nice meta-reference for us.
It's an attempt to reclaim some agency in a situation where she has none. She can't control the crowd, she can't control the train, but she can control her audio input. It's a very effective coping mechanism.
Now, compare that sensory experience to John's commute.
John walks for 15 minutes.
He's outside, he looks at the trees, he looks at the sky, and he uses one word to describe it: peaceful.
This is more than just a pleasant walk. There is a concept in neuroscience called optic flow.
Optic flow, what is that?
When you walk forward and things move past your peripheral visual field like trees, buildings, lampposts, it has a proven neurological effect of quieting the amygdala.
The fear center of the brain.
Exactly. It naturally lowers stress and anxiety. It's a form of active meditation. So John is effectively meditating on his way to work.
Well, Mary is basically in a low-grade combat situation.
That's a good way to put it. So John arrives at work zen and prepared. Mary arrives frazzled and already depleted.
And that sets the entire tone for the next 8 hours. Section 3, the work environment.
The battle continues.
It's 9:00 a.m. Mary sits down at her desk. What is the first thing waiting for her?
The digital avalanche. 50 new emails.
50, before she's even had a sip of water. That is a lot.
And this immediately puts her into a state of reactive work. She isn't starting her day with her own goal or her own plan. She is starting her day by responding to other people's demands. She's on the defensive from the get-go.
And then, at 10 a.m., the meeting, she calls it boring. She's just sitting in a room talking about reports and numbers. And what does she want?
More coffee.
Of course. Her first coffee's worn off, the crash is coming.
She's seeking dopamine. She's bored, she's sedentary, she's sitting down, which slows circulation and makes you feel sluggish.
Well,
and her brain is craving stimulation. Coffee is the easiest, most accessible fix for that.
John, however, is a teacher. His work environment is the opposite of sedentary. He is standing up.
He's physically active, he's moving around the room. He says his classroom is loud but fun.
He's engaged. He's playing English games with the students, using a whiteboard.
Yeah. This is a crucial difference. John's job seems to provide what psychologists call a flow state. He's absorbed in the task. He gets immediate feedback. A student asks a question. He answers it. He sees the light bulb go on.
Right. There's a clear cause and effect.
Mary's job seems to be an endless loop of open-ended tasks. Emails, reports, there's no clear closure, which can be very draining.
And just that simple act of sitting versus standing, that has to be huge for your energy levels, isn't it?
It's massive. Standing engages your core, your leg muscles, the whole posterior chain. It keeps your metabolism more active. It keeps blood flowing properly to the brain. You know that cliche, sitting is the new smoking?
I've heard it.
It's a bit of an exaggeration, but biologically, Mary's sedentary morning is compounding her fatigue, while John's active morning is generating more energy.
Which leads us to the inevitable biological signal at 1:00 p.m., the point of no return.
Hunger.
Mary's stomach goes grrr. I love that the script actually includes that sound effect. It's the universal language of feed me now.
That quick latte she had 5 hours ago has long since worn off. Her blood sugar has crashed. Her body is demanding real fuel.
So now we move into section 4, lunch culture. Because this is where I feel like Mary actually wins a point. This is her moment.
Oh, how so? I'm curious.
Well, Mary goes to a small cafe with her friends. They order sandwiches or pasta. But look at what they do. They tell jokes. They talk about the weekend. They laugh.
You're referring to the social buffering effect against stress.
Right. She's decompressing. She's connecting with other humans. That laughter, that conversation, that has to be good for her, right? It's refilling a different kind of battery.
You're absolutely right. That's a huge benefit. Social connection triggers oxytocin release, which actively lowers cortisol. For Mary, lunch is an escape hatch. She is leaving the cage of the office to remember she is a human being. It's vital for her mental health.
Exactly. Whereas John is eating his very sensible meal out of a box.
The lunchbox, a key piece of vocabulary for daily life.
It contains rice, chicken, and broccoli.
The classic bodybuilder special. Clean and efficient.
But he eats it at school. He doesn't leave his work environment. He stays in the cage.
But here's the difference. John doesn't seem to perceive his work as a cage. He doesn't need to escape. He seems to find fulfillment in his routine. Mary finds her fulfillment outside of her routine.
That's a really sharp distinction.
John views his food as delicious and healthy because he associates it with his long-term goals of health and energy. Mary views her lunch as a delicious escape from her immediate reality.
Okay, that makes sense. But then the text introduces a phrase that I think every single person listening knows intimately, the afternoon slump.
Ah, yes. The postprandial dip. The 2:30 p.m. wall.
Can we explain this for the listeners? Slump, what does that mean?
A slump is a drop or a fall. In this context, it means a sudden, heavy decrease in energy and alertness. It usually happens around 2:0 or 3:0 p.m.
Why do we all feel like we want to curl up and die at 2:30 in the afternoon?
It's a mix of biology and behavior. First, your body has a natural circadian dip in alertness in the afternoon. It's a small echo of the big sleep drive you feel at night.
Okay, so it's partly natural.
But it's made much, much worse by what you eat for lunch. Mary had pasta or a sandwich. That's a heavy carbohydrate load. Her body releases a lot of insulin to process the sugar, which can lead to a blood sugar crash. Plus, her body is diverting a ton of blood flow to her digestive system.
So the blood is leaving her brain and going to her stomach.
In a manner of speaking, yes. Mary says in the script she wants to sleep under the desk.
Which is a hilarious image.
Yeah.
But so relatable. I've been there.
We all have.
So how do they cope? This is the coping strategy phase of the afternoon.
Mary goes to the pantry, which is a great word for our listeners, means the office kitchen or supply room, for a strong green tea.
It's wise that she switches to tea in the afternoon, isn't it, instead of more coffee?
Yes, that's a good move. Green tea still has caffeine, but it also has an amino acid called L-theanine, which has a calming effect and can smooth out the jittery buzz of caffeine. But she's still, fundamentally, medicating the fatigue rather than preventing it.
And John, what's the secret?
John drinks black tea. No sugar.
No sugar is the key, I bet.
It's absolutely key. He's avoiding that secondary glucose crash that a sugary drink would cause. For him, the tea is a precision tool for focus, not a lifeline for survival.
And look at their work during this time. From 2:80 p.m. to 5:00 p.m., the script says Mary's busy, writing reports, talking on the phone. It just sounds like a grind.
It's high-friction work. It requires a lot of focus, which is exactly what she doesn't have. She is fighting the clock and her own biology.
John, on the other hand, is marking homework. But look at how he frames it. He says he gives stars to students and enjoys seeing their progress.
He's framing the work in a positive light. He's not focusing on the tedious process of grading papers. He's focusing on the rewarding outcome, the student's learning and improvement. It's a powerful mindset shift. He is finding the micro wins in his afternoon.
And then finally, the clock strikes 5. Section 5, deliberation.
Freedom, for one of them at least.
Right. Mary describes her feeling at 5:00 p.m. as being like a bird leaving a cage.
That is such a powerful and honestly such a sad metaphor, isn't it? A bird leaving a cage.
It implies she spent the last 8 hours in captivity, that her real life was on hold.
It implies her life only begins when her work ends. And that's really the tragedy of the Mary archetype. She is living for the margins of the day, for the evenings and the weekends.
And this is where we see the most divergent behavior in the entire script. The text calls it the post-work fork in the road.
You're tired, you're mentally depleted, your willpower is at its lowest point of the day. What do?
John does the unthinkable, the unbelievable.
John goes to the gym.
He goes to the gym after work.
He lifts weights for 30 minutes, and then he runs on the treadmill.
I have to ask, is this realistic? He's been teaching all day, he ran in the morning, and now he's lifting weights. It seems superhuman.
It is realistic, but for a specific neurotype and habit profile, John understands Newton's first law. A body in motion stays in motion. He knows that if he goes home and sits on the couch, he's done for the night.
The inertia of rest.
Exactly. So he keeps the momentum going. It's a form of active recovery. By switching from draining mental work to physical work, he actually refreshes his brain.
He claims in the script it gives him more energy.
And biologically, he's right. Exercise increases blood flow to the brain, it releases endorphins, which are natural mood elevators, and it helps to flush out the accumulated stress hormones like cortisol.
Okay, the science checks out, but still.
Yeah.
Now, Mary does what I think 95% of us do. She goes straight to the supermarket, she buys milk, fruit, and a bar of chocolate.
A treat.
This is the I deserve this psychology, isn't it?
It is. It's a compensatory reward. The thinking is, I suffered for 8 hours in the cage, so I need a hit of dopamine from this sugar and fat to balance the scales.
But it's a trap.
It's a trap, because the chocolate is a short-term fix that leads to another energy crash. It doesn't actually restore the energy she lost throughout the day. It just masks the exhaustion for an hour.
And then dinner. John gets home at 6:30 and immediately cooks. Grilled fish with salad or vegetable soup.
It's light, it's anti-inflammatory, it's easy to digest. It's a meal that's designed to set him up for good sleep.
Mary, in her own words, is lazy in the evening. She admits it. She cooks pasta on some nights easy carbs, or, on Friday, the holy grail of comfort food.
A pizza.
Hot pepperoni pizza delivered to the door.
It is the ultimate surrender to the desire for comfort and ease. It's warm, fatty, salty, savory. It hits every single pleasure center in the brain. It is the culinary equivalent of hitting the snooze button.
That's brilliant. I don't want to work anymore. I just want to receive comfort.
Precisely.
So they've eaten, they're full. Now we enter the final phase, section 6, winding down.
This is a critical and often overlooked part of the routine, how you prepare the machine for the next day's battle.
Mary hits the soft sofa. There's that word soft again. Always seeking that comfort.
See, it's cocooning. She wants to be enveloped in physical comfort to offset the mental discomfort of her day.
And she turns on Netflix, specifically romantic comedies. She says she wants to laugh.
She wants passive entertainment. She doesn't want to think. She wants the emotions delivered to her. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's a state of consumption, not creation or engagement.
John, by contrast, sits in an armchair. It's a bit more formal, a bit more upright, and he reads a book. A history story.
This is active leisure. He is still engaging his prefrontal cortex. He is learning. He is processing information. This is a very specific trait you see in a lot of high achievers. Their downtime is often still developmental in some way.
And the soundscape is different too. John listens to quiet classical music.
He is deliberately lowering his heart rate. He is signaling to his nervous system that the day is ending, that it's time to shift from a state of fight or flight to rest and digest.
Mary's evening hygiene routine involves a long hot shower with lavender soap.
Again, using sensory inputs to self-soothe. Lavender is a classic, well-studied relaxant. The heat from the shower also helps to relax muscles.
John just brushes his teeth again, puts on his pajamas, and then we hit the final crucial battle of the day. Sleep hygiene.
The battle of the blue light.
John is in bed, lights out, by 10:30 p.m.
He's protecting his sleep window. He's protecting his melatonin production.
Mary's in bed,
Yeah.
but she's not sleeping. It's 11:00 p.m., and she's on her phone, scrolling Instagram and TikTok.
This is a phenomenon with a name. It's called revenge bedtime procrastination.
Wait, that's a real term. Revenge bedtime procrastination.
It is a very real term. It's the phenomenon where people who feel they don't have control over their daytime life refuse to go to sleep early because they want to regain some sense of freedom and personal time late at night.
That makes so much sense. She feels like her day belonged to her boss, her commute, her emails. So this hour of scrolling, this is her time. She's taking it back.
She's taking revenge on her demanding daytime schedule. But the person she's actually hurting is her future self.
Even if it destroys her tomorrow.
Exactly. She is stealing energy from tomorrow's Mary to satisfy tonight's Mary.
It's in this section that John actually breaks the fourth wall in the script. He gives advice. He warns about the blue light from the phone. He says, put the phone in another room.
It is the single most effective piece of advice for better sleep, and it is, for most people, the absolute hardest to follow.
So Mary finally turns off her lights at midnight.
Leaving her with a shorter sleep window, much lower sleep quality due to the blue light exposure, and setting her up perfectly to feel exhausted and hit the snooze button 3 times the next morning.
It's a perfect, vicious cycle.
It's a self-perpetuating loop. Mary's morning routine is a symptom of her evening routine, and her evening routine is a coping mechanism for her stressful day, which is made stressful by her chaotic morning.
Wow. When you lay it all out like that, it's actually kind of tragic.
It's not tragic, it's human. It's the struggle between our ancient biology and our modern environment.
Okay, so we've dissected their entire day. Let's move into our final section, section 7, the vocabulary and the takeaways.
Because we aren't just here to judge Mary and worship John, we need to extract the value for our listeners.
Right. The source text gives us the vocabulary, but we're here to understand the concepts behind them. So first, let's just quickly recap those key phrases that the listener needs to know from the text. These are great words and phrases for describing your own life in English.
Absolutely. We had early bird, that's the proactive starter. Snooze button, the symbol of resistance. We had lunchbox, the symbol of preparation and planning.
Afternoon slump, that biological dip in energy we all feel. And wind down, which is that process of decelerating before sleep.
All fantastic practical terms.
But beyond the words, what's the big lesson here? If you had to boil it down to one concept, What is it?
I think the central lesson here is about one word: friction.
Friction, like things rubbing against each other.
Exactly. John designs his entire life to reduce friction for the things that matter. He jumps out of bed, no mental friction. He has a uniform, no decision friction. He brings his lunch up, no logistical friction.
And that frees up his energy.
It allows him to spend his limited willpower and energy on the things he values: teaching his students, exercising his body, reading his book.
And
Mary's life is full of friction. The argument with her alarm clock is friction. The wardrobe crisis is friction. The crowded subway is friction. The email avalanche is friction. She is constantly grinding her gears just to get through the basics.
So the goal isn't necessarily to become a perfect, emotionless robot like John. It's to just smooth out some of the gears in your own life.
That is the perfect way to put it. You don't have to start running at 6 a.m. and eating grilled fish every night. But maybe you can reduce 1 point of friction.
Like what?
Maybe you lay out your clothes the night before. That removes the wardrobe friction. Maybe you make your lunch while you cook dinner. That removes the lunch friction. Maybe you just put the phone in the kitchen at 10:00 p.m. That removes the blue light friction. Small shifts to reduce the cognitive load.
I like that. You don't have to be a superhero. You just have to stop tripping over your own feet in the morning.
One of the best things you can do is to narrate your life. That's my advice. Use the vocabulary. When you reach for your phone at 11:30 p.m., actually say to yourself, I am now engaging in revenge bedtime procrastination.
Just naming it.
Just naming it gives you power over it. It makes an unconscious habit a conscious choice.
I am feeling the afternoon slump. My body needs water and a short walk, not just another coffee.
Exactly. Use the vocabulary from this deep dive to diagnose yourself, not to judge yourself.
I have a final provocation for you, and for the listener to think about.
Go for it.
We spent this whole time painting John as the winner. He's healthy, he's productive, he's calm, but is he fun?
Pauses. That is the unspoken trade-off in the script, isn't it? John's life is very sterilized, it's efficient. But where is the messiness? Where is the spontaneous decision to order a pizza with friends? Where is the joy of laughing so hard at a silly rom-com that you cry?
Mary is tired, yes. She's stressed. But she seems to feel things more deeply. She connects with her friends over lunch. She allows herself to be soft and seek comfort. There's a humanity there that seems a little absent in John's routine.
Perhaps the ultimate deep dive conclusion isn't to choose one or the other. It's that we need to build a hybrid.
The John-Mary hybrid. I like it.
You wake up early. That's a John move. You drink the glass of cold water. Very John. But maybe on your commute, you listen to a comedy podcast that makes you laugh. That's a Mary move.
You go for a run after work, but you eat the pasta on a Friday night because you love pasta.
Discipline structures the day, but perhaps indulgence is what makes the day worth living.
I think that's a pretty perfect summary.
A little bit of John's structure, a little bit of Mary's soul.
So listeners, that is your challenge. We want you to look at your routine for tomorrow. Don't try to change everything. Just pick one John habit you could insert into your Mary life, or one Mary moment of joy to insert into your John life.
Just try the glass of cold water tomorrow morning, just once. See what happens.
Or the harder challenge,
Yeah.
just put the phone in the other room tonight.
If you can. It's a big ask.
A huge thank you to the source material, the A Day in the Life script, for giving us this incredible window into the human condition. It was so much more than just a vocabulary lesson.
It really was. It was a mirror. And mirrors are always useful, even if we sometimes look a bit like zombies in them.
Keep analyzing, keep exploring, and we will see you on the next deep dive.
Goodbye, everyone.
And try not to hit snooze.